Yo, what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another Fortnite video. Today I have more tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you guys that will hopefully help you improve your gameplay and overall get more wins on Fortnite Battle Royale. So without further ado, let's jump right into some of these tips. So the first one that I have for you guys is to understand where enemy players are landing. The game starts as soon as the battle bus takes off, so you want to pay attention to where enemy players are going, especially when you get closer to the ground. Let's say, for example, you like going to Retail Row like I do. Generally, when I go to retail, there's a specific house that I really enjoy going to, that I always go to, and I pretty much run the same route, right? I go from one house to the next house to the next, and then up to the stores. It's kind of just the way that I like to play the game. But when you're landing in at retail, you need to pay attention to where other players are landing. Let's say you're playing solo and you see 3 other guys land. You want to be able to have an idea of where they're going to be when you're done looting your house. If I'm landing at my house and I see I'm the only person landing there, I'm going to feel more comfortable. I'm going to be able to take a little bit more time to go through, make sure that I don't miss anything and get in a rush. However, I want to be able to see if someone's going to land at the house that I'm running to next. If I see that someone's landing there, I need to be prepared for someone to come running from that direction, or when I move that way, I need to be prepared for someone to already be in there. Same thing with the stores, right? Like you're dropping in, you don't see anybody go to the stores, okay, maybe I'll go that way so that I can get that loot before those guys get to it. Or maybe if someone does land at the back stores, you're like, all right, I won't have to worry about them now, but just to have the idea that they're back there. You want to have an idea of where the enemy players are going to be before they start shooting at you. That way you give yourself a little bit of an advantage, and you're not caught off guard when they come out of nowhere. The second tip that I have for you guys is to stack up on materials early in the game. One thing that is very beneficial, and I know a lot of people struggle with, I don't want to run outside in the open to go destroy a tree to get wood and then just get shot at and end up losing health. One thing that you can do is if you're landing in a town or a city or anywhere with houses, you can destroy a lot of the stuff inside of the house to get materials quickly, and you can actually get a decent amount. Let's say you're in a bedroom, you can destroy the bed, the bookshelves, the cabinets, random stuff that's just around the room, and you'll get a lot of wood from it, and you won't have to worry about someone shooting you in the back. You'll be able to gather a lot of materials and still be indoors and have cover, and it's a lot safer than running out and just aimlessly chopping down trees. But it's very important to have a lot of materials at the beginning of the game, especially, when you're later on in the game and, you have a lot of materials then, but you have a lot of guns, you have a lot of ammo, you got a lot to work with at that point in the game. Early on, there's a good chance you're not going to have an amazing setup or your dream setup in the first couple minutes of the game. So it's important that you have enough materials that you can win a build fight, because you're not going to be able to just win a gunfight at the beginning of the game with just crappy stuff and kill everyone. So you want to make sure that you have plenty of materials so that you can build and not get stuck. Another thing is at the beginning of the game, you don't really have a lot of ammo, and I mean, most of you guys know that. We play the game all the time. You understand that generally when you first land, you're only going to have a couple bullets, and you don't have you're not capable of getting in these elaborate gunfights with more than one player or just shooting down their base or whatever it is you like to do. So you have to be more conservative and understand that I don't have a lot of bullets. Okay, maybe let me build, make this guy push me, make him get closer to me so that I have a better shot and I don't waste all my ammo. So try to stack up on as much materials as you can early on in the game. It's going to benefit you greatly. The next tip that I have for you guys is to don't engage in a gunfight if you're at a disadvantage. So many people like taking gunfights just because it's kind of the natural instinct of the game. You see a player and you're like, shoot, right? Like, I got to go after him, shoot at him, kill him. But a lot of times you're at a disadvantage and you don't really realize it. You see someone running away, maybe you start chasing them. One of the biggest things that I do that screws me up all the time is I'll be running to the next circle that's a pretty decent distance away, and I'll see a guy in front of me, so I'll start shooting at him and I'll build, but then I realize he's got the upper hand because he's already closer to the circle. So in reality, I'm gonna have to be the one to run at him to get to the circle so that I don't die from the storm, and he's not gonna have to move. He's already gonna be posted up and waiting. So that's one example of not attacking someone unless you have that advantage or unless you're on an equal playing field. To be honest with you, I don't think you should attack anyone unless you create that advantage first off, right? Like if you see someone and you don't have to run to the circle, you're not going to have to run past them to be safe, I would build first, right? Like build a wall with a ramp really quick, something basic, so that you don't have to take that time to stop. A lot of times what happens is you'll start shooting at somebody and then they'll quickly build a wall, and then you realize that, oh shoot, okay, now he built, now I need to start building, and then you'll try to build your stuff, and by the time you get your stuff built, that guy's already done building and he's aiming, waiting for you to pop up. So it's overall kind of a recipe for disaster. So the best thing that you can do is to go ahead and put down that wall and that ramp, or build a 1x1, however quick you are at building, build something before you start shooting at that guy. That way you're always able to stay on lock and wait for that guy to pop up again if he does start to panic build. So don't engage in gunfights if you're at the disadvantage. Same thing with hills. If you see that someone clearly has height advantage on you, you definitely don't want to attack them, right? Especially if they're up on a hill, something that's not built by them, that's actually in the game. There's really no reason to try to do that, because height advantage is so important in Fortnite, and you want to make sure that you have that before getting in a gunfight with someone. The next tip that I have for you guys kind of goes along with the last one, and that's to build first, shoot second. This one applies a little bit more towards when you're getting shot at, when someone attacks you instead of you attacking them. A lot of people like to just, when they start getting shot, they like to just start shooting back immediately, and that's really the worst thing that you can do. I know it gets really annoying, especially now. I feel like almost every player that I try to shoot is just quick as hell, just constantly building. But I mean, that's part of the game, right? That's what Fortnite is. So you need to be prepared to build first and shoot later, because health is crucial. You want to make sure that you're not just giving away free pop shots at you, just standing out in the open trying to shoot back. So if you even hear the gunshots before they even hit you, just start building walls everywhere. One thing that I really like to do is run around with my building stuff out, right? Like, I won't even run around with a gun out anymore. I'll run around with my building stuff out, so that if I do see someone or I do start getting shot at, I can instantly build. I don't even have to worry about taking that time to press the button. So it's really nice, and it kind of gives you that advantage and keeps you prepared all the time. The last tip that I have to share with you guys is to understand your enemy based on the way they build and the skin that they're wearing. And I guess when I say based on the way that they build, you could say based on their game style or their gameplay, from what you can see while watching them. The first thing is to pay attention to the skin that the player is using. Generally, if you see someone with a skin that's a high battle pass level, right? Like if the battle pass just came out and you see someone with a high skin, yeah, sure, they may have bought all the levels, but there's a good chance that they're going to be really good. So you want to be cautious, and you want to play based off of what you think that person's going to be. You don't want to judge them completely, because obviously you never judge a book by its cover, because they might look bad but be extremely good. So you never want to change your gameplay completely. But most of us play a lot differently against someone that's clearly very bad and someone that's clearly very good. So when you're looking at the skin, if they're using a basic skin, see the way that they move. See the way that they start building. Are they jumping? Like when you started shooting at them, did they jump? Did they start building immediately? Did they build a 1x1 really quick? Did they build something that the average player doesn't normally build? Pay attention to that kind of stuff, because if you're shooting at someone that appears to be bad and they build the Taj Mahal in 13 seconds, you're probably going to be screwed, and you're like, all right, well, that probably wasn't the best idea. So understand the enemy that you're going to be facing. If you are, and like I said, I want to make this clear, don't change up your game style or gameplay completely. However, if you are going up against someone, and let's say, for example, you can clearly tell that they're not good, they're either new or just not a very good player, you want to push, you want to be aggressive. I think being aggressive is very, very important, especially in Fortnite. I think that as long as you can tell that they're not good and you're not kind of risking it for the biscuit, I think it's important to be aggressive and try to push up on them and not give them that chance to really figure it out. Because if they're not really a good player and they're trying to figure out how to build, and you can clearly tell it took them like 15 seconds to build 2 walls, it's probably smart to go ahead and push them. But again, guys, understand your player based on their skin, or the player that you're going up against based on the skin that they're using, based on the way that they're building and the way that they're playing. And by playing, like I said, I just mean like jumping around. Like when you started shooting, were they jumping? Before you started shooting, were they jumping? A lot of times you can tell just by the way they move. If you're stalking someone, or you're watching someone from a distance, and they're jumping and zigzagging and looking around while they're moving, there's a really good chance they know what they're doing. However, if it's someone that's just running kind of aimlessly and you start taking shots and it takes them a second to turn around, they don't jump, they build a little bit late, you can generally tell what the player's like before they even get a shot off. So pay attention to the way that your enemies are playing, and you should be good to go. But anyway, guys, that's going to be the video. If you guys have any questions, any comments, anything to add, any more tips to add to the ones that I provided in this video, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video. Can we be friends?